Hello Stampers, my name is Linda Bedinger and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Denver, Colorado. And today I have a card project for you and let's just get started. Okay, so today I have this card project for you. Let me adjust my lighting here just a little. And it's a very pretty little card and very simple. And I've got a stitched square here, and I'll show you how I got a stitched square instead of a stitched rectangle. Then I have a smaller stitched rectangle taken out of the center here, and I have my flowers put in there, and then on the inside I have a little piece of ribbon and a bit more of the flowers. And today I thought I might change up my colors a little bit, and what I've done is I'm not sure exactly what I want to do here, so I have cut a whole bunch of flowers here, and the die set that I'm using for this is Bouquet bunch framelits, and the Bouquet bunch framelits has all kinds of beautiful dies in it, but the two or three that I'm using are these. Well, let's just bring out the whole thing here so I can get everything out where you can see it. And it has a couple of different dies, small flower dies. One of them cuts out a flower that's a little bit bigger, and the other one cuts out a flower that is a little bit smaller. They're very, very pretty. And then in addition to that, it cuts out this beautiful greenery bit here, and this is what it looks like. And I've done this in a little different color than I did here. I'm trying to think what I used there. I can't remember, but I think I used garden green here because I wanted something that was a bit brighter. And so this is what I'm using. Now, what you need, I used a base that was the gorgeous Grape 8.5 by 5.5 scored and folded at 4 1/4. But of course you could use any color base depending on what you're doing with your flowers. Then I have two pieces of Whisper White that measure 4 by 5 1/4, one for the inside and one for the outside. Then I had another piece of paper that was 4 inches by about 4 inches. And what I did was I used this rectangle die, and let me see if I can tell you which one it is relative to the rest of them. It is I think this comes this way, so that it is the second largest. Yes, I used the second largest, and then I used the one that's a little bit off by itself here that is a smaller, more squarish rectangle. So on this one, what I did was I used my rectangle die on my piece of paper and cut my first rectangle here. So as you can imagine, this would have been 4 inches long. Then I decided how big I wanted my square, and I put my die back down here and managed to make it a square rather than a rectangle. So again, I cut it this way, and it would have been like cutting on one of these. It would have been quite long. And then I decided how big I wanted my square and just moved this die down and cut that piece off. So that's all there is to making a square out of a rectangle piece. And you can see I'm a little offset from center here when I cut my smaller piece out of the inside. That's not going to matter because I can arrange it so that my flowers kind of fill in. So that's how I got this piece, and then you end up with these pieces cut out of the center, which would make beautiful little sentiment pieces, so I'm saving those. But this is what I need then, so you need 3 pieces of Whisper White in order to get this done. The second largest of the stitched rectangle dies, and the one that is a bit more squarish, the smallest one. Okay, then out of my variety of papers here, I cut one or two each of these small dies, and then of my garden green, I cut one of these pieces here. And then I used, well, let's just go ahead and get started. It's really a very simple card once you get that stuff done. What we're going to do is adhere these two pieces to my card, and these are going down flat because there's lots of other dimension on here. So on the outside, I'm going to set this one down here in the center. And then for the inside one, I used a little bit of this ribbon, and I used a ribbon here. So this is the ribbon I'm using, and this particular ribbon carried over to the new catalog in the gorgeous Grape, this mini striped ribbon here. And so before I adhere this piece down on the back, I'm going to go ahead and add my little piece of ribbon across the bottom here. And I'm going to cut off a piece of ribbon here that will secure around the back, put a little bit of snail on my ribbon to kind of hold it in place, and set that ribbon down roughly with about 3/4 of an inch showing on the bottom. Then wrapping this around the back side, put some snail down there. I'm going to cut off the excess here, and there we go. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of my snail here. And adhere that piece on the inside of my card. So there we go. So pretty. Okay. All right, now then the other thing I need from this is just a little bow for the front underneath my bouquet of flowers here. So I'll go ahead and get that made, and then we can just set it aside until we need it. And there we go. I'm going to snip that off at a bit of an angle there, and on this side as well. And there we've got our bow made. All right, and so now we are at the point of doing something with this piece. Now, what I did here was I put this piece up on dimensionals, which I'm going to do right now. And I'm going to put quite a few dimensionals on this because I don't want this end here or these pieces to collapse. So I'm going to put some reinforcement on the top and the bottom of that little cutout, and then my 4 in the corner. Now then, I want to center this piece on my card base here, so, and leave enough room along the bottom. Now, what I used at the time this was designed before the new catalog was launched. Best Birds has been retired, and I used the congratulations for Best Bird on this one, but you could use any happy birthday or congratulations that you had in your stash. I think in this case I need lots of congratulations cards, so I'm going to go ahead and use this one, but understand that it's a little different for you if you don't have that one, and knowing that it's retired. And I'm going to go ahead and do that stamping. I could have done that before I put my piece on there, but I think I'll be okay. And I'm going to do my congratulations right down here along the bottom. I was so sad to see this stamp set go because I love the sentiments from here. But there's my congratulations done. And then it's a matter of putting in my flowers. So the first thing I did was put in my stems, and you can see that that's not going to work. So I did have to cut this piece off, and we're going to set that down right in here. And what I'm going to do is put some snail on the back of this, and I'm going to put snail kind of on the tips of this top part and along the bottom, only because I want this to stay secure in here, and I want these pieces to hold down on the outside of my square. Then I can use my flowers, and I thought I might change it up this time. I'm going to use the dark purple because that's my card base, and I want to make sure I do that here. So I thought I might do my dark purple, and then I have to decide what else I'm going to do with it here. I thought it might be kind of fun to go bold and do some of the reds here. And I do want to use some of these smaller flowers as well. So maybe I'll use a red there, and maybe one of the lighter purples in here, and the darker purples, and maybe one of the larger reds here. And you'll have to tell me what you think. Out of the sequined mix that is the Gingham Gala sequin mix had these beautiful purple sequins. Let me just grab a couple quick pages of those. And some of the sequins along the bottom half of this sequin mix are actually little flowers, and I use those little flowers to kind of fill in. So that's going to be what I'm going to do here. And on these, I just went ahead and used some snail on the back of these. And for this, I want to use my dot runner because it has a tendency to keep the snail out of the middle and makes less of a mess than the other. So I'm going to start down here with my larger purple flowers. Then I'm going to put a small red one next to it here. And I think this would be fun to do just a whole bunch of different flowers as well. And then I think I'm going to use a larger of the light purple here and kind of tuck those underneath a bit. Then, let's see, I think I'm back to dark purple, and I'm going to use the smaller ones. Here we go. And then red, I'm just kind of alternating here, large and small. And then I'm going to put my last red bunch of flowers right down here. And isn't that just pretty? I think it comes out just so nice. And we don't really have a red sequin, although we do have some red rhinestones. But I think what I'm going to do with this is just fill in on this one with a little bit of these purple, since the dark purple is the background and it also is the sentiment. I think I'm going to use these purple sequins here. Well, maybe I am. To add some decoration around the front of my card and also on the interior here to just add some additional interest. So there we go. And I'm going to put one down here. Then we're going to put our bow in here, and I'm going to use a glue dot to get that accomplished. And let's see, grab a glue dot here and add it to the back of the knot, and I'm putting it, you almost don't see the stitched rectangle under there, although in real life you do see the edges of it. And there we go. Isn't that pretty? And then on the inside, what I did was I used a couple of these additional flowers here, and since I used red and purple, I'm going to go ahead and put some of these red flowers here and some of the purple flowers down here as well. Trying to get some of that. See, I should have used the dot runner on that. Otherwise I'd get glue all in the little spaces there. So like that, and then use a couple more of these flowered sequins here on the top and the bottom here to add just a little bit of sparkle. And there we go. Isn't that pretty? I think I'm going to add just another one of these, I think on this one down here. And there we go. That is the project for today. And you can see how this would be lots of fun to add some different colors and make it a complete bouquet of lots of flowers. I think you could have a lot of fun with this design. And so that is my project for the day. Thank you so much for stopping by my YouTube channel today. I do so appreciate it. And if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Or you could join my team. Joining Stampin' Up! Is always a good deal, $125 for $99 worth of product. And it would be lovely to have you on my team. But there's my card for today. And I decided to go back to the catalog, the annual catalog, and I'm going to try and alternate projects that have carried over, because some of you have invested some serious money into some of the products from before and some of those that have carried over to the new catalog, and I don't want to ignore those projects. And so I want to be able to offer both the items that are available in both of those places. So let's see, my prize draw for the month of June is the bundle of your choice, the large bundle. So in the catalog here, this is the way the bundles are working. Let me just get back to the front here. So one could select the Good Morning Magnolia bundle, which is normally the stamp set and the die set. But on page 37 in the catalog now, we have the opportunity to get the entire suite. And that one, the Magnolia one's $134. So it would be as high as that, but it could be one of these others as well. Here's one that's $27.50, and there's just different ones in here, typically more like around the $175 range. But that is the bundle I'm giving for my prize for the month. So all it takes to be in the drawing is to put your put an order in on my website, www.lbedinger.stampinup.net, or you can get to it through my blog, www.ingenuity.com. And that's it. Like I said, for me, I'll be back soon with more cards, more projects, and more tips. Bye.